Despite months of vaccination campaigns to target vulnerable communities, Black and brown New Yorkers are still not getting vaccinated as much as the rest of the community.
And News 12's Noelle Lilly speaking with some local groups to find out why that vaccine hesitancy is still sticking around and what we can do to fight it.
Pop-up vaccination sites like this one here at Soundview Park in the Bronx have been set up by the city, local hospitals, and community organizers across New York City in an effort to get more Black and brown New Yorkers vaccinated. But still, less than 25% of Black adults in the city are fully vaccinated. City data shows Black and Latino communities suffered the most from COVID-19. Local organizations telling us it's a barrier to access, which is why local governments and New York Health and Hospitals created targeted efforts toward these groups through campaigns and easily accessible vaccine sites like subway stations and Yankee Stadium. The CDC reported less than a quarter of Black Americans nationwide received their first COVID-19 shot. In the Bronx, 38% of white people and 45% of Asian and Pacific Islander adults received their vaccine. Community groups in the Bronx say the problem is a mistrust of the government that goes far beyond COVID-19.
A lot of times when you go to the hospitals in the Black community, what tends to happen is the treatment is not the same as in other communities. You hear about things that are happening in poor communities, and that's allowed to happen on the media. You don't have trust in government when it comes to minorities.
And you know, that mistrust has a long history. Julie says that a lot of the time when she speaks with members of the Black community who are hesitant about being vaccinated, many of them bring up the Tuskegee Experiment, a racist 1930 study that used Black men as test experiments to study syphilis without their consent. Julie says that bettering the relationship between the Black community and hospitals as well as the government may just take time, something local groups are working to improve every single day. In the Soundview section of the Bronx, Noelle Lilly, News 12.